All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order. If everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Are there any amendments to the agenda?
Mayor, can I please do roll call?
Oh, yes, you can.
Trustee Rogers?
Present.
Trustee Reinders?
Present.
Trustee Pazmino?
Present.
Trustee Consolino?
Present.
Trustee Fialco?
Present.
Trustee Laha?
Present.
And Mayor Yukich.
Present. Now, is there any amendments to the agenda?
Yes, sir. I do have an amendment. I'd like to table I-7.
Okay.
Does he need a second?
I'll
for
second.
table?
All right. So everyone's in favor of tabling number 7, I-7?
Well,
Okay. Well, I just want to make sure everyone knows what we're doing there.
Do we
Trustee-
need to take a roll call on it, Carrie? You sure? Okay.
Trustee Fialco?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
And Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Okay. Next will be public hearing. The regular meeting will be in recess for the purposes of conducting a public hearing. Is there a motion to open the public hearing on the proposed special service area 22-001, Villas of Old Oak, in the village of Homer, Glen, Villas of Old Oak?
So moved.
It's,
Second.
wait, there's still more. The public hearing is proposed SSA Special Service Area number 22001.
You can do the motion first.
They can do the motion? You know, all right. Then read the rest of it? Okay. All right, who had the motion?
Trustee Laha made the motion, and I believe Trustee Reinders made the second.
Yes.
Okay. So now I'll go back and read.
Voice, all those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Is there a motion to open a public hearing on the public hearing as, Jesus Christ. The public hearing on a proposed SSA Special Service Area number 22001 is open for comments. The public hearing is designed to allow residents to state their opinions and/or concerns. It is not a question and answer that is given. Is there anyone that wishes to comment on a village's proposed SSA Special Service Area number 22-001? Are there any comments from the public? No. Okay. Is there a motion to close the public hearing of the proposed SSA Special Service Area number 22-001? Is there a second, or is there?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Trustee Laha and Trustee Consolino, is that correct? Okay.
Special Service Area number 22-001. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries and the public hearing is adjourned. The meeting will be called back to order. Why don't they hit it this way? And then that's, then they should separate up. Okay. That's done. Are there any public comments, Joe? First one would be Matt Klein.
Regarding special service area, so
Okay.
unless there's questions.
Okay. Next would be Steve Balich.
Steve Ballage, resident of Homer, Glen, and I'm addressing the board's signature. I haven't heard anything about it, whether they found the person who did it or what happened. But it's a very disturbing thing because every single person that works at the Village of Homer Glen, everyone can be implicated as a forger. So when you go on in your life, you know, if we don't come to a resolution with this, 10 years from now, you could go apply for a job, and they'll say, are you the forger from Homer Glen? It's a bunch of baloney. The other part of it is, how many times in the past was the signature forged? And on what documents? We don't know because we don't know who did it. How many times in the future will the signature be forged? We don't know because we don't know who did it. I'm going to be here every month until that's uncovered because whoever did it needs to answer to it. And the rest of the people need to be vindicated from it. It's not right to have everybody under suspicion. It's a complete travesty. And I know all the people up here, I know, and I wouldn't accuse anybody of anything. But somebody did something, whether it's an employee or somebody at the board. We got to get to the bottom of it. You know, and I haven't did anything like call the Attorney General's office or none of that stuff yet. But there'll be a point that you guys don't take action yourself that I start doing some things because I don't want nobody punished for something they didn't do. So please, hire a forensic handwriting analyst and have them verify the signatures, have everybody that had any contact with that piece of paper or possibly have contact with that paper, have their signature verified that they didn't do it. So please, let's get to the bottom of this and not make it go for 6 months. Something's wrong and we got to solve it.
Dave Medema?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Board of Trustees. My name's Dave Medema. I work for Home Township Road District. I've lived in this area since I was 13 years old. I guess I'm 46 years out here. I've worked for the Home Township Road District for 21 years. I was here in the beginning of Homer Glen when it was born, and I've attended these fests that since before they were, and they were just a little event up in the park. And they were just a little event up in the park and a parade on Saturday, and it turned into this big fest that you see today. I've been to every fest. I've worked every fest. This last fest, I have to admit, was bar none the best yet. Many years, I went to the fest, went to the beer tent, and it was so crowded and obviously noisy. It's a beer tent. But there was never much room to get out of the beer tent and hear the people you're trying to talk to. And this last event, evidently the fences were taken down, and people were able to move out to the outer area, and I seen families with their kids put blankets on the ground and just having a good time. And I just wanted to commend you on a job well done with that area. So many times I've gone to the fest and it's like this. You know, you're trying to talk to people, people are bumping you, you're spilling your beer because it's crowded because you're in a smaller area. And I just want to come and make comment and compliment every one of you on the job well done with the fest this year. It was really nice. And I hope that this sets a precedent for future fests. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Next would be Sherry Benecki Cooling.
Hi everyone, I'm just going to stick to my notes so I don't get off track. I'm here this evening to speak specifically about Trustee Consolino. This is brought before the board as a whole since Trustee Consolino often publicly refers to her role as trustee. This makes her words and behavior a reflection of the village board, which is a shame because there are people up there doing real work. Trustee Consolino, if you continue to attack and lie about my personal character and continue to publicly disparage me on social media and in public, I will take appropriate action. Trustee Consolino, if you ever follow myself or my family, including my small children, anywhere, and attempt to take a video or pictures of us, I will contact the Will County Sheriff's Department. And if you think I don't have receipts and witnesses, you are wrong. Yourself, Mr. Brody, Angel Shake and her family, came to an event to point your cameras at my family at my event. It was so embarrassing. The young waitress that was taking care of us approached me and said, I know those people sitting at the table. I've known them for a really long time, and I'm really uncomfortable because they're taking a picture of us every time I'm speaking to you. That's how you're making young women feel. She knows your families and was still uncomfortable. It's a shame. As for your attacks about my campaign for Will County Board, it's you sitting behind the computer spreading a bunch of disinformation instead of doing your job. So how to get on Facebook and start working for the people of Homer Glen, because we all see what you're doing, and it's shameful. Try working for the people. You can glare at me all you want. Don't intimidate us. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. Next, Sharon Swees.
Hello, everyone. In the 21-year history of the village of Homer Glen, there has never been so many experienced, qualified, and dedicated village employees that have quit their staff positions or were deliberately forced out of their jobs. It is unbelievable that 16 staff employees have left. In addition, 2 were recently let go. The major loss of Homer Glen personnel has taken place within approximately a year's time since the village's election in 2021, when newly elected trustees joined the current board trustee to form a majority in order to control the vote on the board. If these board members cannot respect staff and work along with them, then these board members do not deserve to sit in the seats they occupy. The same goes for the manager. Are you letting your vanity and your egos get in the way of doing what's in the best interest of this village and its residents? The people of this village want transparency, respect, and honest government, and elected officials they can trust and respect in return. You are here to serve the public. What is the game plan now? Is it to fill some of those vacated positions with relatives and friends? Is that what's starting to happen? You've created a huge problem for all of us, and the residents want to know in what direction are you taking this village. And just a comment, since Mr. Ballage is here, I wish you would please stop spreading misinformation on social media.
Thank you, Sharon. Next will be John Walters.
Hi. On July 15th, there was a notice of special board meeting posted, signed by the mayor. It's a discussion of possible action concerning the continuation of the village of Homer Glen's Homerfest. The implication is there something happened where the fest could possibly be canceled. So I came to that meeting on the 17th, and something was forged document on the liquor license, the forged signature, the alleged forged signature on the liquor license. That had nothing to do with it. And I just think that we need to get to the bottom of this. We have to find out who did this.
Well, we're not talking about it.
The fest was almost canceled. When I read this notice, we are actually considering canceling the fest because we didn't have a liquor license. And this can't happen. We got to get to the bottom of who forged the mayor's signature on this document, or if it was forged. And I haven't heard anything since that meeting, no updates. And I think the citizens of the town deserve to find out what's going on with this investigation, because this is very serious. Thank you.
Sadiq Punawala?
No comments, just
Okay, thank you. Evelyn Miss Novick?
Hi, I'm only going to speak when we talk about the adjournment.
Okay, thank you. Michael Bonomo?
Good evening, Mayor, Trustees, and the full board, everyone from Homer, Glen. Glad you're here. As a lot of people know, I run the pretty much Homer Township Senior Committee, and every month we run a bingo, a senior bingo, the second Tuesday of every month, and I hold it across the glory. Last month, I was informed by Deacon across the glory that she was having an event on Tuesday, which meant I could have my bingo. So I'm in front of 65 seniors, and I'm thinking, what can I do? There was offers maybe to have it at the village hall or come out of any other venue. Thank God Christina was there, because it was a simple matter of making one phone call. She came to me and said, it's all taken care of. We were able to hold the senior bingo yesterday at Cono's Park. Law Cono allowed me to have everything under the tent. Joey's Red Hots served the food, then charged us a dime. Law Cono hooked up the ice cream truck. We served the seniors ice cream, muscatoli, what else? We had meatballs, sausage, all the food they could eat. And we had 80 seniors, the most I've ever had since I've been doing this. So we're just starting to get out. It's a great event. And my biggest thing is I want to thank the village and the township for working together, because I have Nicole's mother helps out tremendously. She's like a rock star for me. Christine comes out and helps. I mean, it's a great thing that, and Mark Garland, who's not here, he comes out and helps with his wife. John's niece came by, needed some hours, and she helped out yesterday. But my whole idea is the township and the village, when we work together, we're a better place. And again, kudos to Christina for helping out. The city has mentioned everyone except for one, I think, and it's tremendous. And again, the whole idea of this is that we work together better for it. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Next would be Mike Carlson.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Carlson, Homer Glen resident. Thanks for everybody coming. I wanted to say about the committee, the sabotage. Mr. Mayor, I saw you out there one time. You chewed me out a few times behind stage, which was uncalled for because you knew the rules with the alcohol. Your puppets weren't there, so I don't know what the case was on that, but the whole sabotage thing really irritated me, because I worked all the way out in Rockford, and I didn't want to miss a meeting, so I drove all the way here for a fest meeting, and then drove all the way back to Rockford. I dedicate my time, my efforts for this whole thing, and the signature thing is really bugging me, and all the attacks on the chair of the Homerfest, and all the people, the village managers. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like a daycare center for adults. This is stupid what we're doing. Everyone's bickering back and forth. You can't do this, you can't do that. If you have a problem with not having a fence there, if that's your whole problem about a fence, come to these meetings we have every month. You know when they are. Explain yourself, and we can work with you. Everybody works together there. There's times where we wanted to change this and that, and we worked together and we figured it out both ways. And that's what you guys need to do up there. You need to figure it out. You need to figure out both ways what's good for both people. Not fighting or getting up in the middle of a meeting and leaving. You're the mayor, for Christ's sakes, of this town. You shouldn't stand up and walk out. You should fight with your gloves on. But you just let me down. I was a big supporter, a big voter for you. And this whole fest thing, it was a sabotage. It was almost canceled. If that was canceled, the ability awareness, they wouldn't have had the money they made. I went out with a freaking basket, and I was out there getting money, dumping money on the table for them. And they succeeded way past their goal. If that was canceled, I would have been so upset. Because I work with handicapped kids. I work for the SSRA, Special Olympics. I help out with wheelchairs. And that is a big part of my life, besides what I do for a living. And I was really upset that this whole thing was almost canceled, that you were almost going to sabotage this thing. I don't know if you
you
Can I
or your
respond?
puppets, or I've ran into all your other people at the store before, and they told me all this stuff, oh, there won't be a fest this year, there won't be this, there's not gonna be that. So it was already planned that we weren't gonna have a fest for some reason. And that's just ridiculous. I mean, we got better things to do here than talk about trying to sabotage a fest and look for a signature, whoever did it.
You have 30 seconds. I'm sorry.
That's- Okay. Anyways, Mrs. Costello, you're doing a fine job over there. Keep up your good work.
Jay Rhodey?
Trustees, Mayor. I've been part of this community since 1987, and I've gone to, since you guys have been having Homerfest, I've gone to a majority of them, but I never realized what it took to put something like this together. I know it grows every year. You know, I don't know if everyone in the crowd has ever, I've never been there for a setup. Mr. Fialco, Trustee Fialco, asked me to do a couple of things because I'm an electrician by trade. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to give back to my community. I really appreciate that. And also to John Robinson, I know he retired. He couldn't have been more forthcoming in walking me through the way with the electrical and everything and how he planned and laid it out. And, you know, special thanks to him. But, oh my God, you guys work your, excuse my language, but you guys work your asses off every day. Everyone on the, well, almost everybody on this board. But you guys, the volunteer is just unbelievable. I had no idea, especially like over 100 degrees some days. If, you know, I know when you're setting up, obviously, everyone can't come there and check it out. These people work their butts off, and I'm sure the people before you guys were here worked their butts off as well. It looked like it was a great success. I don't know if you're going to talk about the financial means as far as what the fest pulled in, but it looked like it did a really well job. You guys did a really well job. Glen, saw you out there busting your butt. I get it. It was an eye-opener for me, and I really appreciate what you guys do. Thank you very much.
Last one would be Sandra. I'm not sure of the last name.
I'm just here for the Duncan.
Okay, thank you. All right, that's it for public comment. Can I address it there? Can I address this there? Because it's a lie. I'll start off with the village manager.
Okay. So in the light of Mr. Robinson exiting, he managed our EMA. So our EMA manager, Jim Riley, is actually a co-chair, so he's going to step up to the plate and help out until we do some facilitating. We are looking for volunteers. This is a organization that does training to help with emergency management in our area, whether it's an accident or, you know, a gas leak or whatnot. So it's very advantageous that we get some volunteers to do this, and we're looking for volunteers that we can train if you don't have the background. So I was asked to see if we can get some volunteers for this EMA. It looks like we're down to like 4 members. We used to have about 8. We usually like to keep it around 8. That's a really good management. It gives guys, you know, some rotating time. So I'm just here to just kind of say, you know, if anybody's interested, by all means, give me a call. Come speak to me after a meeting. I'm always available, but that's all I have to report.
I'd like to call point of order right now before we continue. We have an agenda and an order that we are to follow. We were criticized for putting public comment above everything else before, but now we're taking the agenda and shuffling it in the middle of the meeting. I believe we are on G1 in that order. Correct?
You are correct, trustee. The order of the agenda should be followed.
Number 5, public safety officials.
That's not the agenda order, though. It would be your turn, sir.
I'll talk at the last one. I've done it multiple times up here. I've switched it around from side to side, and you just don't like it because you're not getting it your way. That's all it is. It's real simple.
I'm not upset at all. I'm just saying that we have an order of our agenda, and I'm asking that we follow it.
Attorney Corvath, does that follow Robert's Rules of Order?
The agenda, if the mayor wanted to amend the agenda, there was an appropriate time to do so at the beginning of the meeting. The agenda should be followed for just to maintain the order of the meeting. And so Trustee Fialco is correct in making his point. And so the mayor should make the report, and then the trustees, and so on down the line, as originally stated. If you're going to change the agenda, it should either be done by amendment or prior to the meeting itself.
Well, at that time, I didn't feel I needed to say something, but after some of the comments that were made, it changed it, and so I changed it. So, public safety officials, Jeff?
Point of order. Attorney Hansen,
It's called point of order.
can you verify why we should proceed as the mayor is dictating?
There's nothing to verify. You basically asked your legislative counsel for his opinion, and
Well, his opinion follows parliamentary procedure.
Well, if the mayor has nothing to say, then the next order on the next order of business would be the trustees. So, Mayor, if you're going to make a comment, it would be appropriate at this time, or you will be out of order and subject to a motion from one or more of the trustees. I don't know what else to say, Mayor.
Well, we'll go to the trustees.
I do understand that.
It's number one, not number two. I know that pretty good.
I just want to make it perfectly clear and make sure that we're on the same page here. So then the trustees would be in order at this point in time.
I want to make sure, Mayor, you're giving up your opportunity to speak at this time in the role and the order that we have under reports and communications?
make your comments now.
I can make my comments now. Okay. All right, mayor's report. First of all, Mike, what you said is a bold-faced lie. I talked to you for probably 5, maybe 10 minutes when I was there, and it was all about the festival. As for the alcohol, that's a bold-faced lie. When it first came up to fruition, and we found out that there was a falsely signed paper, Trustee Fialco said that we're not going to have we won't have a liquor license. We won't have a liquor license. I told him, you will have a liquor license. Don't worry. We have to find out who signed this paper, but in the meantime, I'll make it good on the liquor. So did it any time, were you not able to serve anyone alcohol? No, they could serve alcohol the whole time. I didn't stop anything. You guys are just trying to make this my fault, which it isn't. Someone signed a piece of paper. I don't know who did it. I called it forward because, Mr. Balich, I thought the exact same thing. If it happened before, what's the chance of it happening again? If you look at Cary, Illinois, when that woman took all the money, that scared the hell out of me. So I'm the one that said to our IT guy at the time, call the police. I want the police here right away. So he went and called the police for me, and that was my direction. After that, I said, I want some information of who can help us out with finding out who did this. And a process is started. We have it with Will County right now. I haven't gotten an answer from Will County yet. I've called a bunch of times. I have not gotten one. I'm going to talk to Jeff tonight after the meeting and find out where they are with it. But I'm doing everything that I possibly can to make sure that this never happens again. It shouldn't happen in the first place, but it did. Who did it? I don't know. And I never came out saying I think it's this person or this person. I don't know. I didn't see it until I saw the signature. It's not mine. So you can say whatever you want to say here. All you're going to do is tell lies. I have no reason to lie about anything. I know what happened. Just don't know who caused it. And as for the show, it was pretty good. There were some times it wasn't so good. I mean, when I've got residents coming to me, and I have people that work here come to me because of things that happened from some people here, I just figured let them work it out. If they want to prosecute, prosecute. If you don't want to, don't. So all the stuff that you, Mike, had said, you should be ashamed of yourself. The only thing I remember about that day was talking to you about something else that happened. Never did anything about that either. I never got behind that stage at all. Behind stage where they had all the beer that they were stealing from the trucks? That's very right. That's real correct. We did go back there to get the beer. So, you know, you're just trying to make things up here. And you have to admit, how many cases did we take back out of there? And we were told by a gentleman that lived here in Homer Glen that he saw at least 13 to 18 cases gone, because he said sometimes when they turned, I couldn't tell if there was 1 or 2 cases with them. That's why I wanted the gates set up with the fencing so we didn't have issues like that. We never had issues before this year. And I'm not blaming it on him. When the bear was dropped off, we all had 3 people who had keys to open and close it. There were no keys to open and close anything on this one. So they had both of them. So they were going inside one truck, then they'd go inside of another truck. They'd bring some beer behind where we were serving it. So I've done everything that I'm supposed to. And if I haven't, you tell me what I missed, honestly.
We didn't lose any beer. All that beer that came from that truck went into that cooler, and that's where it was at. And that was for the bands that were drinking it.
Christine, you going to comment on it?
I'd prefer not to. However, there were, the night of the Ability Awareness Committee, there were some residents who did state that cases were coming off the truck and going behind the truck. We did find some cases that were empty along the side of the beer truck. And I did not say
We're not saying it had anything to do with you.
It was handled that night. There was a discussion that was handled, or discussion that had taken place. I don't know the outcome. I believe it's still being looked into. There were sayings that not anybody from our staff, it was other people that were doing this. But then there was also maybe some confusion on where it was going or what they were doing with it. So yes, that is, Mayor Yukich is correct.
I know that one thing I told the bar that was with the company, that I needed 3 cases of beer, and I gave him the names of them.
I'm not here to with all due respect, Mr. Carlson, I'm not here to discuss this. I just wanted to clarify what happened that evening.
All right.
Is this something maybe that we could instead discuss at Homerfest meeting? Thank you.
And then the last thing on it is we caught kids back there that were going through the cars. And that's when we found out where the beer was. So, you know, I know this is the first time they're trying to get the festival done. I told them last year, it's a big job. If you want it, it's all on you. So I haven't told anything that's not true. I haven't done anything that I'm ashamed of, and I know I helped out. So with that, we'll go to the trustees. We'll start out with Trustee Consolino.
Hey, everybody. All right. I would like to take the time to congratulate Trustee Fialco and thank him for spearheading and producing a very successful Homerfest this year. Trustee Fialco was assisted by fellow trustees Pazmino, Trustee Reinders, and I want to say a special thank you to Trustee Laha and her Special Awareness Committee as well. However, I think the biggest thank you of all should go to our village manager, Carmen Morella, and our village staff, who went above and beyond the call of duty, alongside all of our amazing, selfless volunteers. Homerfest could not happen or succeed without all of you and your efforts, so thank you. During this week's Environment Committee, Trustee Pazmino and I had a very informative presentation that was brought to us by the Will County Cares, which is Citizens Against Ruining the Environment. More information regarding this organization can be found at their website, willcountycare.org. The public safety meeting will be held in August, where we will again be updating the village ordinance on ATVs. Any public input or questions regarding this ordinance can be emailed to me directly at jconsolino@homerglenil.org. I would also like to add that the Homer Glen Junior Women's Club is having their annual garden walk this Saturday, the 16th, from 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. You can reserve your tickets online at eventbrite.com. The self-guided tour will start at the most beautiful Annunciation Byzantine Catholic Church. And on a very personal note, I respectfully request that Clerk Christina Nechke-Troike speak during her clerk report to her knowledge of the American Legion Hall at Marion Village and her request for everyone's support to help and assist them. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Laha.
Okay. I would like to echo congratulations, Dan, and the whole Fest committee. It was really hot, and a lot of you were doing it for the first time, and I thought it was amazing. I look forward to supporting it next year, and the Ability Awareness Committee helping the pre-party carnival. With that being said, I want to thank the volunteers that came to the pre-party carnival. It was, everything that we were able to do and had control of, we put our hearts and soul into it. My volunteers came, and they had a smile on their face even when we had some issues come up, and I am just so unbelievably thankful because, like Trustee Consolino said, without you we wouldn't be able to have done what we did. I want to also thank Joey's Red Hots. They are so unbelievably charitable and supportive, so thank you. I want to thank Papa John's. That was amazing too. The kids loved the pizza. Karen Adamczyk and Debbie Stevens really were out there busting their butts in that heat. So thank you so much for being my feet and my voice for some of those things. I also would like to thank all of those that came out to bartend, the MC who rallied the people who really opened up their pockets. Homer Glen is such a generous community, and I was really proud. I was really proud of the people that came together. I was proud that we raised over $4,000 for a swing that we are going to be able to look out and put over there. Homer Glen is a really great place, regardless of some of the efforts of people to try to say otherwise. I'm proud to be a trustee. I work my butt off alongside with everybody else here. And I think it's really unfair to pin some of the things that are going on this board. Everybody up here works really, really hard. So with that being said, Christina also is going to announce our Pop Tap Challenge winners that also really rallied and got together and created a lot of fun and raised funds. And I also would like to personally congratulate our special needs grant winner that Bren Porfilio sponsored. Her name is Bridget Albert. And I don't know if any of you have been able to see the presentation, but it was really inspiring and reminds me why I sit up here every other Wednesday to do what I do. That's it.
Trustee Rogers.
I think I'm echoing their sentiments. I saw I know the hundreds of hours that go into planning the fest, and it is hard. It's very hard work, very, very hard work. I think I counted last year 100 hours out there. It's a lot of work, and it's just amazing that people can come together and volunteer and go for it when they have the opportunity to do that. And again, it's the community coming together, and I think that every year people come and see that we need volunteers. It hopefully, initiates some people to just, even if it's just 2 hours collecting tickets or whatever the case may be, that it is important to do. I unfortunately wasn't able to go for the first time in many, many years, but I appreciate all of the efforts that everyone else put in. That's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Pasmino?
Thank you, sir. Don't have any report for any of my committees, but Trustee Laha, Trustee Rogers, and Trustee Consolino, he kind of stole my thunder. So, and lack of being repetitive, I agree with everything they said. But I do want to give a special kudos to the village manager, Mr. Morella. You and I put out a lot of fires together. Thank you very much. It's the little things that are unmentioned, I think, that are really important, because it's, if once you connect the dots on all those, that's what makes everything kind of go around. And I think that everybody that participated made that happen. The village staff was very essential in the success of this carnival. The public works, the parks crew, the township, Brent Porfirio, who built the road that connected. He put the asphalt, he laid it out really nice. I mean, this is unheard of years ago, and we did it all in 1 year. And a special thanks to Trustee Fialco. You took a risk above all odds. Everybody said it couldn't be done, you were doing it wrong. You did it anyway. And yes, there was a few bumps in the road, but we worked it out. And we got it done, and the residents benefited from it. Thank you very much.
Trustee Reinders?
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I would like to thank everybody who participated in the village parade, the Homer parade. I know we got rained out on Saturday, but we actually had a really good turnout on Sunday as well. And I'd just like to thank everybody that worked really hard to put that together and help us organize it. I really look forward to next year. I was just at a parade in Gatlinburg, and they hold their parades at midnight, and I've never seen anything like it. It was amazing. There were more floats and marching bands and dancers, and it was crazy. So it gave me a lot of ideas for next year. So I really look forward to that. I would also like to thank Dan Fialco, John Robinson, Tony Drabeck, Mike Carlson, Parks and Public Works, the Vest Committee, all the volunteers. I mean, everybody worked so hard this year, and the heat really was, it was pretty bad this year, and everybody was just out there working their butt off. So I really would like to give kudos to everybody that volunteered. We actually did I actually brought the meatballs again this year, and they were a huge success. People were walking around with plates of meatballs, so that made me very happy. So I am still getting compliments from people that are coming into the restaurant and just stopping me at the store. I went to Meyer's the other day. I was in there for almost 45 minutes, and I went in for one thing. So people are still talking about the fest, and they're saying that they love the new setup. They love that the kids were separated. The kiddie rides were separated from the other rides. They love the food truck. Everybody is still talking about the food trucks. So that was, I'm really happy with the way everything, the new plan was set up. So, and I know it wasn't easy. This was the first year that Dan took on this task. And I know there were a few hiccups along the way, but they did a fabulous job, him and the committee and all the volunteers and everybody that worked hard. And also I'd like to give kudos out to Nicole and the Ability Awareness Committee for the donation to the park. So I'm so excited about that. I actually made a donation myself because I wanted to make sure they made their goal. So the swing is ordered, and all the rest of the equipment for the park is ordered. So hopefully before the winter we'll be able to get that. This Monday we had a very productive CED meeting. We welcomed our newest members, Trustee Pasmino and Marcy Cuevas. We're very happy to have them on the committee. Janie started out the committee with talking a little bit about our strategic marketing for the village and what type of businesses we'd like to see come to the village, or villages, or businesses we'd like to attract. She shared some results from us from the National Citizen Survey that was done proposing random questions to residents on what they would like to see in their village. And of course, the #1 topic was restaurants. So I knew that was going to be it. But that actually opened up a discussion for us to bring back to the table our discussion on the town center or a downtown area, which it was a very exciting and very engaging conversation. And I was very happy because that was the first time in a long time we had a lot of things to talk about at CED. So we also talked about our sign for the front of the village hall. We agreed that we need to keep it cohesive with the rest of the signs in the village, so we will be mirroring the sign of the gateway sign. So, and with that, that's it, my report. Thank you.
That should be Trustee Fialko.
All right, thank you. I'm going to just change channels here just for a moment, and I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for the lives lost and the injured in Highland Park during their 4th of July parade. Thank you. All right. I'd like to say there's so many people to thank. When it comes to the fest, we are not professional fest organizers where we do this all the time. So between all the volunteers and the people that come together collectively over the 1-year period of time that it takes to put all the facets together for the fest, and how long it takes in the hours that are taken before we get to the day or the week, the 4 days of the fest, is just amazing. And this was the first year that anybody really took over for Mike DeVivo, who kind of handled that all the way from the beginning. He was like the godfather of the fest. And then along with that, Debbie Stevens was, I call her the godmother of the fest because she had been with the fest the longest. So what I'd like to say is, and I put this out on Facebook, I don't usually go out on Facebook too often, but I did say a great big thank you to all the organization sponsors and office staff that volunteered. None of our record-breaking success would have been possible without the Homer Glen Fest committee dream team, and all of the volunteers who worked so hard and tirelessly with the dedication to details and excellence throughout the year. So thank you for everyone who came out to the fest for Homerfest 2022. To cover a couple things though, just as far as financially, it's looking very good. Look like we made approximately $53,000 for this fest. And as far as I know, that broke records compared to any other year previous. But we usually don't have solid numbers from what I remember till about September. So as the numbers trickle in with the checks and we have the checks and balances, what we have to refund, what we have refunds coming back to us, those numbers probably won't be in, solid numbers till about September. I also want to say thank you very much to Joey's Red Hots and Papa Joe's for the ability awareness part of the fest, which was on Friday from 2 to 4, I believe. So thank you very much to them for their generosity and providing, the food to all the ability awareness families. In addition to that, we had another great part of the fest that took place where the organizations that participated in the fest, one being the Village Special Awareness Committee, Nicole Laha, thank you, and also CARES charity organization, Christina Nitsky-Troki. The numbers that came in were a total of $3,245.20, which I understand will more than cover the cost of the handicap swing for the park. So thank you, everybody, for that. The list of our sponsors is endless. I could name all of them and read the list off, but I believe we had 34 sponsors. Mark Gowron and John Walters were instrumental in bringing in those additional sponsors. We were a little low on sponsors when we first got started, but those guys took their time and started working with the local businesses and brought on several businesses that hadn't originally been on there. So thank you guys for that. There was a comment made early on, though, about our police staff, and that there were only going to be 4 people. I want to give you the numbers. These are the numbers I have, just so everybody knows. On June 23rd, that Thursday, June 23rd, we had 17 police officers on staff. On Friday, June 24th, we had 23. On Saturday, June 25th, we had 19. And on Sunday, June 26th, we had 33. Now, I believe that is more than enough to handle anything that would happen at Homerfest. And I thank you, Lieutenant Taylor, for running that with precision. That was run very well. Thank you. I can't thank you enough for all the hard work that you guys did. The other thing I'd like to say is happy anniversary to Scott Chance, one of the employees here. The other thing is, recently I was at a meeting on Wednesday where Brent Portfolio and the Township Board presented an award or not an award, it was actually a grant award, I believe it was called. And that was such a beautiful moment that was shared with our community, and for everybody to be there, and for this young lady was so happy. It was like, I believe the township and the village, we started kind of with this saying, fix where we live. And if we're fixing where we live, one soul at a time, you guys did a great job. Thank you. That's my report, sir.
Mayor, do you mind if I mention 3 people really quick that we kind of left out? And I think.
Well, the reason I didn't mention anybody's name is because I didn't want to leave anybody out.
Oh, okay. Well, I think these people were instrumental, so I'll take the grenade.
Okay.
Mike Carlson, you made that festival. You're the MC. You took everybody up. You took them down. You brought them all over like a roller coaster. And to me, that's probably one of the most important parts of a festival. Thank you, Mike Carlson. Tony Drabeck, who was in charge of the alcohol, he was there from open to close. That man worked so hard. Thank you, Tony. He's not here, but I thought that was worth a mention. And Jay Rohde, who helped us out with a lot of the electrical. He worked side by side with John Robinson, just in case anything went wrong. Thank you, sir. We appreciate everything you did.
Mayor, can I have permission to clarify? I'm sorry, I thanked Papa John's. I meant to say Papa Joe's. Very sorry. Thank you for, I don't know what I was thinking.
That Papa Joe's from Lockport and Orland Park on LaGrange?
That's the one. That's the one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next will be consent agenda.
Mayor.
Or wait, oh, Christine?
Thank you, Mayor. I do have quite a few to report on. Trustee Fialko, you had mentioned the township meeting the other day. Yes, you are 100% correct. The woman who won the grant, Bridget, it was truly an amazing moment. She actually asked to stand out of her wheelchair with her parents' support to stand up and give Mr. Portfolio a hug, which really brought everybody in the room to tears. It was truly magical, and what Mr. Portfolio did was truly nothing less than amazing for that woman. So he definitely deserves kudos for that. Thank you. Mike Bonomo, yes, your senior bingo is so fun. I even enjoy it, even though I can't play. It's so much fun, and I truly recommend for any senior to check it out. It's $5 for 2 cards, and they get free food and non-alcoholic beverages and good entertainment and good times, so I do recommend that they come out. The fest was absolutely amazing. Great job, Trustee Fialko, or Chairman Fialko. The Ability Awareness Committee that took that took control on Friday night, yes, the money for the swing was raised. Mr. Carlson, you did pass out a bucket, which helped us get there. It looked like church. You were passing around this bushel basket down the line, and you truly helped us get that swing, so we thank you for that. We also got the swing because Trustee Pasmino and Trustee Reinders also made kind donations to help get that swing as well, so thank you for that too. The parade, Rosie, you did, or Trustee Reinders, you did an amazing job with the parade. I think my favorite part was seeing the veterans up front on that little truck thing. It was truly amazing, and they personally wanted me to tell you thank you for putting them up front. So they were really happy about that. Thank you, Jennifer, for mentioning the military. I wasn't going to do that tonight, but I will. At the township meeting, I did go to the village, or the township board on behalf of the American Legion Post 2011. Commander Lou Zemke was looking for support. He's not looking for financial gain. He's not looking for any sort of funds being donated. He is looking for the village board and the township board to come together and support our own American Legion here in Homer Glen. It is post 2011. They have about 30 to 40 veterans that serve out of that post. What they're looking for is support as in attending their events, helping them share and get the word out when they have an event. They would love to see all of you guys there and supporting them. It truly means the world to them, and I believe Mr. Zemke is going to come to the next board meeting to touch base on that. So thank you, Jennifer. I believe the township had discussed at the last meeting that they were planning on adopting the American Legion Post 2011 as their official American Legion Post, and I could not recommend more that this village board does the same. There is also American Legion Post in Lockport and a VFW in Lockport. Obviously, we live in Homer, so I do highly recommend that we adopt the American Legion Post in Homer Glen. Nicole, you had mentioned the Pop Tab Challenge. We didn't raise as many pop tabs this year as we did last year, but we did get about 700 pounds of pop tabs. Majority of those pop tabs came from our very own Maureen Diogardi. She won $1,000, and she got to donate an additional $1,000 to a resident in Homer Glen with special needs, and that winner was Jax Jankowitz. And Maureen, she actually took her $1,000 and donated it to another special needs family in Homer Glen. So she did a really amazing job. And the second place winner was the Duzan family, who won a $500 Chesdin gift card, which the Duzan family donated the second $500 Chesdin gift card to the Ability Awareness Committee to use for another family as well. The third place prize winner won a $750 Birchwood Garden Landscape gift card. That was the Donaher family, and they donated their additional $750 to Allison Kenkowski, who also is a special needs resident of Homer Glen. So those people are truly, truly amazing. Nicole had asked me, she mouthed to me to thank a few people that she had forgot. She wanted to thank Mr. Brent Woods for getting the Botanical Garden passes and the Brookfield Zoo passes to give to every single special needs family that came to the fest. And I think that's all I had. I'm done. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Next would be consent agenda. I already asked public savings, so, all right. We'll go over them, seeing I did go out of order. So public safety officials first, and then I'll get you the last one.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I spoke to the lead detective on the forgery investigation yesterday. She and her co-detectives are still vigorously pursuing it. It's a priority for them. I cannot comment because it is open, but I can assure you they're doing everything possible to get to a resolution of this. I want to thank Auxiliary Lieutenant Mike Gampo for helping us at Homerfest. We can't do the parade or Homerfest without the auxiliaries, so I want to thank him. He did a great job. During Homerfest, we had a carnival employee collapse and nearly die, and Sergeant Patrick Jones and Deputy Jesse Espinoza responded and performed life-saving measures until Homer Township Fire Department took over, and he is alive. So they'll be getting life-saving awards. I just want to commend them publicly. That same weekend, we had a domestic disturbance not at the fest, where Deputy Jake Populorum apprehended somebody who was stabbed, 2 people, apprehended them and put a tourniquet on the victim and saved his life. So we had a busy weekend, so I just wanted to commend Sergeant Jones, Deputy Espinoza, and Deputy Populorum publicly for saving lives.
Okay. All you.
No report, Your Honor.
Okay, next is consent agenda.
You had one more turn. Did you have anything to say, Karen?
No.
Oh, thank you.
Consider for approval the accounts payable for the period of June 10th, 2022 through July 14th, 2022 in the amount of $825,237.88. Number 2, consider for approval payment of the Village of Homer Glen May legal bills for Mahoney, Silverman and Cross LLC in the amount of $1,755. Next, consider for approval payment of the Village of Homer Glen's May legal bills from Legislative Attorney Odelson, Stirk, Murphy, Frazier, McGrath Limited in the amount of $7,816.25. Madam Clerk, just call the roll. No, just as.
I need someone to make a motion in a second.
I'll motion.
Second.
Okay, now call.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
No.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
And Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Next, legislation and action items. Consider for approval ordinance number 22-031, an ordinance amending Chapter 10, Boards, Commissions, and Task Forces, Article 1, Boards and Commissions, Part 1, Plan Commissioner of the Village of Homer Glen Code of Ordinances.
So move.
Second.
Discussion? Okay, number 2. No, we need to call roll.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
And Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
And motion carries. Number 2, consider for approval the mayor's appointment of Brian Kozar to serve as a plan commissioner for the Village of Homer Glen, which is a 3-year term. And consider for approval the mayor's appointment of Brian Kozar to serve as the chairman of the village's plan commission. It is understood Mr. Kozar's appointment as chair is at 1 year.
I'd like to read something for discussion on this.
We need a motion first.
Second for.
I'll motion.
Second.
I'm not quite sure why this is being brought before the board again tonight. Mr. Kozar resigned during our last village board meeting at approximately 7:10 p.m. on June 8th, 2022. Mr. Kozar submitted this resignation to myself, board members, planning commission members, as well as he sent copies to the Chicago Tribune and the Southtown. His resignation stated, "It is with great disappointment that I was not reappointed to chairman of the Plan Commission. It is evident that Mr. Fialko and others do not feel that I am capable to represent the Village of Homer Glen in the capacity that is necessary under the current Board of Trustees. With that, I offer my resignation from the Plan Commission to allow someone more capable to fill this role. Thank you for the opportunity to represent my community of Homer Glen for the last 5 years on the Plan Commission, and as a resident since 1998. Signed, Brian Kozar." I responded to Mr. Kozar and I thanked him for donating years of service to our community and for doing his civic duty for our village and for our residents. I wished him all the best in his future endeavors. I was informed that the mayor placed this appointment back on the agenda tonight. I don't understand it, and I still do not support it. I think that Mr. Kozar's resignation is pretty clear. Therefore, my decision has not changed since the June 8th meeting. Since Mr. Kozar's resignation, we have had a handful of qualified and desirable candidates who submitted applications to join the Planning Commission. I believe it is in the village's best interest to choose from these candidates to fill the vacant positions with the Planning Commission. I would also like to recommend that the mayor choose from the current seasoned members on the commission for an appointment for chairman, not Mr. Kozar. Our residents need people who want to volunteer and participate on their behalf. They do not want people who are politicking or who are looking to argue with our elected officials, and I agree with this. It's time to work together and be more productive. Thank you.
In addition to that, I'd like to add, my name was mentioned in his email, and if you go back to the video from the last meeting, I had said there that I hope that we could appoint both of the nominees, Mr. Rohde and Mr. Kozar. So I don't know where he got confused, but with that said, that evening I wrote an email to Brian, and I said, "Good evening, Brian. I think you have been given incorrect information as to what took place at the village board meeting tonight. I was looking for you, although I did not see you there. Please give me a call when you have a peaceful moment tomorrow around 10 o'clock a.m. if that's okay, so we can talk like two residents that care deeply about our community and its continued success." Crickets. I never heard from him. I never got a call back. I never got a text, nothing, no response. And the way I understand it, the way he also put in with the newspaper, the Chicago Tribune or the Southtown or Michelle Mullins, however it went across, it was publicly put out there, and he pretty much made his stance that he did not want anything to do with it any longer. But wherever that confusion came from with his observation of the video or whatever somebody told him, because he put this out, it was very quickly at 9:10 p.m. and he wasn't at the meeting, so he had no time to review the videotape itself. And I don't want to pick this apart. There's a list of things that took place under his direction that I don't want to go into unless I had to, but I am with you, Trustee Castellino. He took a stance. He made an announcement publicly to a newspaper, and therefore I think we've accepted his resignation, and so is the Chicago Tribune. With that said, that is my comments.
Yeah, I was confused by seeing this on the agenda. I too received the resignation letter. I responded and thanked him for his service to Homer Glen. I'm always extremely supportive of any residents that want to volunteer. You know, I know it's a lot of time and effort, especially for the Planning Commission. It's extremely important. You know, I feel weird voting for this if this is not something he wants to do. I mean, I have not heard otherwise from him personally that he would like to be reconsidered. And I don't know that he's here, so I feel like I'm not sure who is, you know, I personally, you know, think he does a good job on the Planning Commission. My point is, I haven't spoken to him personally to know that this is what he wants, and I don't think he's here for public comment or anything. So,
right, so the only thing we're left with is his email that he resigned, right? And what he sent to the Chicago Tribune.
Right, and I received that,
so
and I have not received any correspondence stating otherwise.
Right.
I talked to Brian. Brian said that he would love to come back. The reason he did what he did is when we had it on Zoom, and they were talking about what was going to happen, and then nothing happened. They just voided it. He wanted to know why. And they took it off well, when it came to it, they tabled it, or they just eliminated it. They never said anything on it. So we had it coming to him. So,
and I understand that. I understand what you're saying, but without his word and him telling us that, I feel that either this needs to be tabled so we can have those discussions, or, you know, I don't want to appoint someone that doesn't want to be serving our community. Oh, you are here. Okay, thank you. I didn't see your name on public comment.
I didn't need the public comment. I was asked by mayor and staff.
Okay.
Be considered.
Okay.
And if the trustees would vote for me to continue on the Planning Commission, to continue as a chairman. The reason I resigned was that a motion was made for my reappointment. There was no second, and the motion died. So that spoke that the trustees that were there, the majority vote that was there at that committee, didn't want me in a commission status representing our village. So I'm here because I was asked, would I be considered, would I reconsider, rescind my resignation, and help represent this village as a professional. So I'm here again to answer any questions.
Is there a reason why you didn't respond to my email?
I didn't feel it was appropriate to respond to your email, just because it was evident that the vote was of non-confidence, that
By who?
second of your
I didn't vote.
trustees. Correct, you did not vote, I did not get seconded.
Right.
And so it was stated that the majority of the trustees of here didn't want me as chairman of the planning commission.
Mr. Kozar, nobody said anything negative about you, from what I recall.
It was said that this was political.
No, what I said on my end, because I had to call in, was that I felt that the mayor was politicking, and that was in reference to Jay Rohde's opinion.
I'm sorry, in the video, it was stated that me personally and my plan commission were acting political. I'm going to read the email that was right before the one that you read. And this was sent Sunday, June 5th, to the mayor, to Melissa, and to the village manager. I said, good afternoon. I saw that on the agenda was an appointment for a new plan commission member. It has been past practice for the chairman of the chairman and the vice chairman to have the ability to interview potential candidates. This was not the case for this appointment. Additionally, it was brought to my attention by 3 separate Homer Glen community leaders that this individual who has made negative videos or statements of individuals who have spoken at various public meetings or hearings. I have not seen these videos, but if this can be substantiated, I am uncertain if this individual may be the best representative for Homer Glen. And so what it was is I was reached out, as were other members of the Plan Commission, of the appointment of another individual that was not necessarily the best representative of Homer Glen. I received after the appointment a list of the resumes hand-delivered by the mayor, because he had just received them. And I talked about it with my vice chair, that there are more qualified people to fill the vacant role left by the commissioner that stepped down last year. So that being said, I'd be glad to serve as on the Plan Commission and as chairman if this board would like that. So I submit to you the ability to make a motion and to second and then vote for me to remain chairman of the Plan Commission.
On July 2021, you were quick to come to the podium and be very critical that time, I remember. And with some of the statements you made, you gave numbers. And then right after that, actually the township's, road district township supervisor had to come back and actually correct your numbers and your statements that you made. Do you remember that, sir?
I do, and it was based on Homer Township's current posting of the tax saving that we as Homer Glen residents.
All right, but your job is to pay attention to details, right?
Point of order. Here. He's got the floor.
No, he doesn't have the floor. I'm having a conversation.
Did he just say point of order?
That's the way it's going to go.
He did.
Go ahead, Brian.
He did.
So, to your response about detail, the only information I had was what was posted by the public on the Homer Township's website. If any data was different, actually that was a report for one of my public administration's master classes showing that a reduction in public service in public special districts causing a savings of per $300,000 household of $400 plus or minus to every single Homer Glen resident by our commissioner, our township commissioner here, by giving us, or by transfer of stewardship of the highway commission.
Would you say that was a rush to judgment, what you said at the July meeting, though?
No, it was a compliment to both the township and to village board.
You criticized this board and you complimented the previous board, and then you gave numbers that did not match with the road district supervisor and what he had presented the next meeting to correct you. So that's kind of like where this started, and I still don't know why you didn't respond to me. But also, as long as you're talking about resumes, the resumes were supposed to be completed in by December 31st, and you weren't here to answer that question last time. So maybe you could help us out where you were at with that. Because as far as I know, there were several resumes that were put in. I don't know if you were holding them, but if you were holding them, that wasn't right to do either. Because there was a deadline and a certain amount of resumes came in, the way I've been told, and that was not carried you did not follow through with that, with the resumes that were submitted on the 31st. Maybe you could explain why that was done?
Sure. As a resident and as a volunteer, we have nothing to do with the resume process. Everything gets submitted to staff, and then once the mayor receives the resumes, he submits them to our team to review. And then we interview the last several that have come across, even before I was chairman. They interview the different individuals, and they make a recommendation to the mayor. The mayor makes an appointment.
And previous to that, though, Jay Rhodey, you did write that he made some videos, some parodies that were, he was actually attacked out there, and he did a parody video. I don't know if you watched it. It was like a comedy in response to something that was done to him and his family. But you were quick to judge him also. And instead of sitting down with him, before you sent your email, did you actually sit down with the man, get to know him, talk with him, and see for yourself instead of listening to rumors and emails as to what took place, or did you rush to judgment on that also?
No, my goal was just to respond to the best interest of Homer Glen.
My question was, did you talk to him, though?
I didn't even know who he was.
Exactly.
So I just received comments from several members up here and from the public who said they had concerns.
I know. That's what I said. But I'm saying, did you, as an individual, take the time to get to know the man and listen to what he had to say before you rushed to judgment?
All I said was I made a recommendation that if these videos were substantiated, that he might not be the best representative for Homer Glen. That's all I said.
So you didn't talk to him?
Trustee Fialko, please let him answer the question.
No, he did answer the question. And this is my conversation, not yours.
I feel like this is, let's
my conversation, not yours.
Point of order, I think we need to calm down, and I think we should call the vote.
Yeah, let's vote.
I agree.
Alrighty then. Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Pezmino?
No.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Fialko?
No.
Trustee Cancelino?
No.
Trustee Reiners?
Nope.
Well,
Thank you for the opportunity to serve this village.
Thank you.
thank you, Brian. Okay. Number 3, consider for approval the mayor's appointment of Jay Bradovich to serve as a plan commissioner for the village of Homer Glen, which there is a 3-year term.
So move.
I'll second it.
Discussion.
I think, Mayor, I'd like to say I've known Mr. Broderick for many, many years, and I know that he is a master in his field, and I think he's going to be able to serve this community well. He's got the knowledge and experience to read over plans, to engineer, and he has the resources actually to help us with all of that. So I believe that he would be an asset to the village.
Absolutely.
I also believe Mr. Brodich has served in the past on the commission, so this is nothing new to him.
Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Pezmino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Trustee Cancelino?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
And Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Jay, if you're in the audience, you're on the Planning Commission. Okay, next. Consider for approval ordinance number 22023, ordinance establishing special service area 22-001, Villas of Old Oak, and the Village of Homer Glen, Villas of Old Oak.
Number 4. I-4?
Yes.
I-4.
So move.
Second?
Discussion?
So basically, this is like a special assessment because of the fact that there's a lot of maintenance on open land that the village will be maintaining and not the actual HOA or...
No,
It's a dormant SSA.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is not going to be imposed. The only time that you would need to even issue the tax, if you will, is if the HOA is not doing the things it needs to regarding maintenance.
Gotcha.
and upkeep. Typically, it's never really an issue, but
In the event.
it's a backup way. Right.
Thank you,
So
Council.
I'd like to read that fourth paragraph from there. The approval of establishing ordinance does not levy a tax on the SSA. However, it does establish a maximum levy amount. If revenue is ever needed, further board action would be required. So this is not levying a tax at all on anybody. But thank you for explaining it the rest of the way, Trustee Pazmino. I think I'm good.
But this is pretty common, we've done these before. I think they're a good tool to have because I know that there's a subdivision, a newer subdivision that never really took off, and this, they never established an HOA, and they have a pond there, and they've had some issues there. So it's really important to have that for the people who, the residents who move here and you know, are living here. It's not their, it's not up to them to fix the fault of the developers.
So there's going to be nothing to discuss. Call roll, please.
Trustee Laha? Aye. Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders? Aye. Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next would be consider for approval ordinance number 22-029, a request for 1, a map amendment from A2 rural residential to C2 local business, 2, a special use permit for a planned unit development, PUD, with certain exceptions, a special use permit for a drive-through establishment, a site improvement plan, and a preliminary plat for certain real property located in the A2 rural residential zoning district and C2 local business zoning district at 12121 West 159th Street, Homer, Glen, Illinois.
So move.
Second.
I believe that was
Nick, I think.
Trustee Laha? Okay.
Taylor, would you be able to give us any insight on this that took place at all? Or you don't want to speak? Well, as to how this is going to end up being with, it's another Dunkin' Donut, correct? And I know we have quite a few Dunkin' Donuts in town, whether it's in a gas station or by itself. But in that, I think we asked at the meeting that we try and make it not look like a regular strip mall, you know, Dunkin' Donut. And I know some pictures were sent to us this afternoon as to how it would look. I don't know if the rest of the board had the opportunity to look at those pictures, but
that is one of the variance requests, is the exterior material variance on this building. The materials were presented to us back last year. It is a little bit different than our exterior brick ordinance, so that is a variance portion of this.
And are you okay with that, Joe?
I have researched these materials. They're very popular. They've been actually used on thousands of new buildings, restaurant type, around the world. They're very durable. So I think the architecture, given the area, is probably up to the board, obviously, but I'm fine with the building code aspect. They do meet all ICC evaluation report requirements, so it is a good material.
I think the Culver's was also given a variance like this also, and there was another store also besides Culver's?
The insulated panels at Shorewood Home and Auto, those were unique materials that weren't necessarily brick. Very good product. We're starting to see more and more in these building industries because of the energy requirements that are being mandated by the state. We're seeing some new materials being presented, and any materials that are being used needs to be, we check for compliance with testing agencies for their durability.
Now, currently, that's where the Ace Hardware is at, right?
That's correct. This is going to be in the Ace Hardware parking lot and the northwest corner of that section of the parking lot, which...
They're going to take up some of that parking lot in front of the Ace, and that's where it's going to sit. It's not going out of the... It'll be kind of blocking the Ace in a way.
Well, it'll be in the northwest corner, so it will still give visibility to the Ace Hardware itself.
It's kind of going to be underneath that, I think there's a billboard there. Right now, it's going to be in that corner, tucked in that corner of the parking lot.
With that said, the Ace Hardware, is that owned by, that whole strip mall, is that owned by, I think his name is George? Does George own that whole strip mall?
Yes. I think they've changed ownership for that portion of the property. Janie, correct?
I just want to make sure we're not allowing a building to be put in the front that's going to affect the other businesses some way if everybody's not on the same page with that.
And Mr. Marsh with Ace Hardware is fully supportive of this there. He's worked with them for quite some time to try and get this accomplished.
All right, thank you, Joe.
I spoke with Mr. Morsch this morning. He actually welcomes it because he feels like a lot of the people who are coming in, contractors, are going to come into the Dunkin' Donuts, and then they're also going to buy things out of his Ace Hardware. Also, I live right around the corner from there. I think I welcome a Dunkin' Donuts in that area, somewhere where I could just walk up to it. I think that part of Homer Glen is underserviced with these type of establishments. And to be honest, I saw the pictures. It's very modern, very chic, very nice, and it says Dunkin' Donuts Homer Glen. So I mean, what more could you ask for? I think
actually they're going by Dunkin' now.
Oh, Dunkin' Donuts, even better.
And Trustee Fialco, remember when we met about it, we were discussing, we wanted more landscape. They did accommodate our request to add even more on top of what the original agreed amount was, correct?
And I think that'll make it really...
Yeah, that was a request by Melissa King, our planning and zoning. She did request that there was be more landscaping than what it's originally proposed, so.
Thank you.
I had some questions and concerns, and staff got back to me right away, so I'm fine with it. Everything that I was issued was, which pretty much is some of the same things that you all had. I wanted to make sure that George was made aware of it and was supporting it, and Melissa said absolutely, and looked at some of the materials and things like that, but yeah, other than that.
Okay. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Trustee Fialco?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
And Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 6, consider for approval the proposal from V3 for engineering services to prepare a Phase 2 engineering study for the west extension of the Heroes Trail.
So move.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Mayor, this is basically, this is the extension of the Heroes Trail, and myself and Carmen and Gia met with V3, and Melissa met with V3, and there's actually, we found out that there is money appropriated for this study. So this actually started a few years back. So I actually brought it back to the table for us to continue on and get it finished. So they're actually in the second phase of it now, and they will be contacting ComEd. And they also said that they will, there's a lot of grants out there that they can apply for us. So that'll be part of the package as well.
Nice. Yeah, this is part of the overall, if you look at a comprehensive plan, this is part of the extensions that we had foreseen in the future. I think that when COVID came, kind of put a halt on all of that stuff. So it's definitely well needed. I did also speak with Melissa and asked her if there was we could come up with a way to improve that map so people could see it better, because it's very, I mean, I have terrible eyes, but it's hard to see.
Difficult, yeah.
So she is working on that so that people really know how to get around on it. So.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of requests for it because of the fact that, you know, it just stops there at Parker, at Culver Park. And, you know, everybody keeps saying, are we going to, you know, they want to ride their bikes to the park from that area. So I think it's, and they're working on it right now, so.
Okay. There. Call the roll. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Consolino? Aye. Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino? Aye. Trustee Laha?
Aye.
And Trustee Fialco?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 7 was tabled. Number 8, consider for approval accepting the proposal from the Civic Gov date 6/9/22 to add the business licensing model to our current Civic Plus package. This added module will cost the village $11,000 for the first year, and subsequent renewal would cost $6,300.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Discussion?
Discussion, you know, Carmen, in the process of streamlining things in the office and making things work more efficient, I know you took a lead role in this, and maybe, do you have a few words you might want to say about it?
Yeah, the staff is looking to accommodate more of our business out there, so we could do some more online applications to get business licenses to facilitate a little bit quicker with getting registration done, and then fees would be paid faster, and it would just be a more seamless process. We looked at several products, but we felt that this was a 5-star product. We right now use a couple platforms that is ran by Civic. We use Civic Plus and Civic Rec. Civic Gov is an entity all on its own, so it will be a little bit more, but we already are pretty much familiar with it, so we're trying to seamlessly transition that. We'd like to get it up and operated by October so that our business licensors can use it, so that's our goal.
So Civic Gov, it's not limited to one item. You can use it for a variety of different things that functions within the village. That this isn't going to be just used for one item. The way I understand it, it can be used for several, and in that process, it'll help streamline things.
Correct. I'd like to get more recommendations from staff, but I think we can move into more other applications that we can utilize for this. Going
and admin and finance, that it passed in admin and finance. So, matter of fact, it was unanimously. So I'm all for it. Thank you, Carmen.
Carmen, can you maybe touch on some of the things that we discussed today, just so, because that wasn't presented at A&F relative to the two programs having to work together and those costs involved?
Yeah, so with a couple questions that Trustee Rogers had, Civic Plus, our first year, the cost is a little high because there's some implementation fees that we would need. And then talking with iWorks, which we previously used now, we're on a year contract with them, and it's pretty much ending pretty quick, and the fees are going to actually like double. So we would like to make this transition kind of quick so we don't have to foresee using doubling our fees with our other program. And we also feel as staff, and I'll speak for most of them, that Civic Gov is a little more of a 5-star program, where iWorks is not adamantly where we need it to be. Is that what you mean?
I mean, that they definitely favor this one. I think what I was looking for is, how long do we have to carry the two? You know, we talked about them going through the same thing at work.
Yeah, so
how long do you foresee us having that carry cost, and what is that monthly carry cost to run two?
So what we're looking at is we're going to have a year lapse with a carry cost, but we are still utilizing some of the software for iWorks with our other departments. The first year investment is a $6,000 investment plus implementation, which is about $11,000. That's what we're going to see for our first year with Civic Gov. We also will be seeing a fee that we already paid with iWorks of roughly about the same amount of money. So we're going to have some carryover. Plus, some of our departments still use iWorks. In-house right now, iWorks is used in our building department. And then there's a separate iWorks that's used by the Public Works Department. So we're looking to, hopefully, that we can actually transition.
So about $22,000 a year for how long do you think? I didn't catch that part.
Within the year, we'll have it converted.
That's the transition time you're talking about,
Yes,
right?
correct.
So in the long haul, streamlining things, it's going to be more efficient in the long run. It might cost a few dollars extra right now, but in that transition period of switching from one to the other, it's going to be a little bit more, but in the long haul, in streamlining many different items within the office, it'll be more efficient and more cost effective.
Right, and the goal is to collect business fees faster, so we're not chasing. And I think putting in more of an online, I think will help our clerk's office.
Thank you, sir.
So, if I could finish, I'm sorry. That's okay. When we were talking so I thank you for giving me year one and year two. So will year three's number be 11?
Year 3 would be $6,300.
I think there's some confusion, though.
Yes.
He's talking solely business license registration.
Right.
This is not for all of the other portals that involve with iWorks versus CivGov.
Wait, so that'll be additional then?
Yes.
Do we have that number?
The additional costs?
Was it on here?
I can give you additional costs.
Additional cost, yeah.
So if you look at permitting, it was a one-time fee for a setup, and then there's additional annual fee that's another $9,000. But when you compare prices to what we're getting offered by iWorks, it technically would be a cheaper software after the implementation fees.
So if you guys, I'm sorry, Carmen, if you go to page 14 of what's your booklet part, there's some of the cost in there, not all. So that's just part of it. And then I do have a copy of what we currently paid, which is what Carmen was saying, because the contract ended May this year.
Correct.
So we automatically renewed for a year. So this, we still have to pay this for a year, which is okay, because we still need a transition period, is what Carmen was saying. And eventually, hopefully, everybody would be on the same page.
That's our goal.
The goal is May, right?
Yes, correct.
That's pretty good.
All right, Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
And Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 9, consider for approval the release of funds being held in escrow for the extension of the sewer system located at the Boo property in the amount of $23,543.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Is there discussion?
I just want to mention that Admin and Finance Committee voted unanimously in favor of this action.
Okay, Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
And Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 10, consider for approval assigned a Class E liquor license, temporary license to Holistic Riding Equestrian Therapy hosting an event at Shady Oaks located at 163rd and Parker, Homer Glen, and the HRET Country Western fundraiser held on September 17th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Pazmino?
I must abstain, I hold a liquor license.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
I must abstain. I have a liquor license.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 11, consider for approval one of 3 concrete lifting companies that submitted proposals to the 2022 mudjacking program.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? And seeing it's asking a question, you got to know which one you're going to tell, who's going to be it. So who are the 3?
It has to go to the lowest bidder, right? Isn't that the discussion that we had before? It has to go to the lowest bidder?
Same one.
Okay.
So we can go to, and these were just, this wasn't it's under the threshold.
Is there a recommendation from
Yes,
Public
that
Works?
would be.
Yes, I apologize, I wasn't at the meeting, I was a little under the weather. And I know I listened to do you mind if I, Mr. President, if I give a little background on this?
Sure.
I listened to the audio of the meeting and the questions that arose. There were a couple questions. Raise right, the quality of the work, I think, was raised by Trustee Pazmino. Raise Right has been the company that has done the mudjacking for at least the last 5 years that we were able to track back. We've received no complaints on it, and we continue to spot check their work from previous years. Every year we continue to go back and spot check, and there's been no issues on their work. How long does it last was another question that came up. We have a 2-year warranty with this, with all of them, and it typically lasts many, many years. The length of time the product lasts is really dependent on the quality of the soil that's underneath it. Again, we've got ones that are going back 5 years that are still intact. There's no issues. And then primarily, I think the process for selection was also discussed. Primarily, our concrete inspector goes out annually, reviews the specific areas by subdivision, and then selects based on the necessity there on which is worst. The worst spots go first. We also add in requests that came in from previous years that qualified, but we weren't able to get to because of cost constraints, because we ran out of money in the budget for it. So those will go to the top of the list, and typically we look for severe tripping hazards is how the selection process works, and that's typically a gap of between 1/2 and 3/4 inch or more.
So with these three things that are before us for the bid quotes, and we can pick any one of the three, they're only off by a small amount. I'd like to know, with the quality of work is number one. I've seen some sloppy work done in Homer Glen with other projects. Of course, that's on the top of our list. Safety, with the companies that we've had do the work before, were there any incidents that you're aware of where safety issues were violated, and/or somebody may have hurt themselves, or they had any OSHA violations with any of these three companies?
Yeah, Ray's right. As I said, Ray's right was the one that we've been using, and that is the recommendation that we are making for this proposal. And no, there have been no complaints about their work, and we have not had any reports that have been reported to us of accidents that have occurred as a result of their work or after they had done their work.
Mr. Woods, I have a question. When you guys are considering the sidewalks, you said a tripping hazard. I also would like to point out that, accessibility-wise, it's important that people can use their wheelchairs. So making sure that whatever that ADA compliant is, that we're meeting that.
That is an excellent point.
Thank you.
So at this point, do we just move to go with the recommendation from Public Works? Is that what the vote is?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, okay.
Your motion would be to award the bid to the lowest bidder, Raise Right Concrete Lifting.
Okay, so then I move to go
Well,
with...
I believe it was Trustee Consolino that made the motion, and Trustee Laha that seconded it?
Okay.
I agree.
Did I?
So
So are we in the motion of amending right now, or are we just?
No.
Actually, the way the motion...
I got you guys.
If I may, the way the motion was read was from the verbiage on the agenda. So you are now deciding to award the bid to the lowest bidder. So I think, so you have a clear record, you make the motion to award the bid for the mud jacking contract to Raise Right Concrete Lifting. That's the appropriate way to make the motion, so there's no confusion here, okay?
I'll make the motion to approve the proposal from Raise Right Concrete Lifting for the 2022 mud jacking program.
I'll second.
There you go. Perfect.
I've got it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Well, can I do roll call instead, Mayor?
Roll call.
Thank you. Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
And Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Thank you very much, Board.
Motion carries. Next, consider for approval the purchase of the Toro Z Master 7500D mower for the Parks and Recreation Department in the amount of $63,950.72.
I'll make that motion.
So moved. Oh, second, I'm sorry.
I almost said it too, it's okay.
Yeah.
Discussion?
Admin and Finance Committee voted unanimously in favor of the above motion. Now, at first thought, that cost for $63,950.72 sounds like a lot of money. And when this was first put in front of us approximately 7 months ago, 8 months ago, we didn't have a budget. So I believe I said in Admin and Finance, I partially apologize for the length of time it took to get here. But we did not have a budget. We did not have a budget. We did not know where we were landing money-wise, and we didn't know if we had the money to spend. But now that we've got a budget and everything is in line and this money's available for this lawnmower does the work of 3 lawnmowers. Being that we've taken over all these parks from the township, I think now is the time to make that move and to get that lawnmower to help out the parks people to get their work done. So that would be my comment, sir.
Okay, any other discussion on that one? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Trustee Cancelino?
Aye.
And Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, consider for approval the proposal from Will County Well and Pump Company in the amount of $17,415.80.
So move.
I'll second.
Discussion?
I think just to be clear, so everybody understands what happened, Carmen, I don't know if you want to help out. I know you were involved in this. The initial cost, this is on the football field. It's a well that provides water over there. We were given the property from the township, and it was discussed about, well, the township gave it to us. It isn't working. I understand the original cost of that well to be close to $40,000, correct?
Yeah, that well, when we originally put it in, was to irrigate the 2 football fields, and the west and east field, and it also covers a quarter of one of the baseball fields. So it does irrigate pretty much that sport complex. The reason the well was put in is because the cost of water in Homer Glen is a little expensive for water and grass, and residents would complain because, I mean, we would use taxpayers to pay.
So in the long haul, with this being repaired, I mean, it's minimal compared to how much it originally cost, but in the water savings alone, it will pay for itself.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Also, I think we need to clarify, it's not just for the football fields, correct?
It also irrigates a quarter baseball field 4, I think field 4, yes. So it's not just the football fields. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, with the work baseball puts out there and they're getting ready to fertilize and stuff, they're kind of anticipating this to get moved forward, so.
Okay, any other discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Trustee Cancelino?
Aye.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
And Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 14, consider for approval Resolution 22-007, a resolution approving the authorization, execution of a contract with deconstruction for resurfacing and paving of various roads and streets and the removal of replacements of sidewalks, curbs, and gutters in the village of Homer Glen.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Budget implications, says none.
Dan, just to clarify, this was already approved, this is just the contract side of it, we approved for the bidding.
Right, but still, I mean, to put none kind of,
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that there are budget implications.
There are budget.
They were clarified before.
Correct.
Understood. With that said, again, with this contract and accepting this contract, I would just want to make sure the follow-up on this, Director Woods, that we make sure that we're getting the quality work for what we're paying for. Because this was a big complaint last year, and that was my first time receiving all these calls. So I want to make sure our follow-up process, I believe we have, there's an engineer that's coming in the near future, but if you work with that person to make sure that we get the quality that we're paying for, and we're not going back to repair something a year and a half, 2 years from now, because we didn't get the quality we paid for. I think that was my biggest concern.
It was, and we had our, a pre-con meeting with the construction, and I know one of your concerns was subcontracting, you know, are we getting deconstruction or are we getting some subcontractor that we've never heard of? No, that is not the case. We are getting deconstruction. They do not subcontract out the actual work. The only thing they subcontract out is when they do the curbs and sidewalks, and that will be, well, they don't do the sidewalks, they just do the curbs. When they do the curbs, and that will be checked, the material will be checked. We'll take samples and have it checked to make sure it's it's going to hold up.
Okay. When we do repair the curbs, though, I have seen where they have gone from crack to crack instead of from a marker that should actually be replaced the whole section. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to quality. And if we're not using somebody that's deconstruction and they're going to sub that out, I understand that. But again, for all portions of this contract, I would like you to take that initiative and to make sure that we're getting the quality that we're paying for.
We will be checking, myself, Pat, the engineer, and I'm sure the new staff engineer will be out there riding them, checking it, making sure everything is in proper order.
All right. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
Trustee Consolino? Aye. Trustee Reinders? Aye. Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino? Aye. And Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 15, discussion and action to terminate contract for construction of Heritage Park cul-de-sac and other improvements.
So moved.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Mayor, Carmen and I have both been working on working with the state of Illinois, trying to fulfill the bid requirements that were actually went hand in hand with this contract. And as of yet, we can't seem to get any answers from Austin Tyler as to when they are going to be able to fulfill the contract. So basically, and what we also found out was that it was not actually the proper bid for this contract. There were other bids that that they said that we should have applied for instead of this bid. So basically, what we want to do is terminate this contract, but this doesn't mean this is off the table. So anybody thinking that that's the case, that's not the case. We definitely decided in our parks meeting that we need additional parking in addition to this cul-de-sac. So myself and Carmen will be looking up at some other grants to apply for, to see if we can actually fulfill all the needs of the parking for the whole park. And that's the inner circle, the cul-de-sac, and the parking for the splash pad up in front.
Rose, when you said it was the wrong bid, did you mean the wrong grant?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Wrong
okay.
grant.
Yeah, she meant grant.
Yes, wrong grant, I'm sorry.
And then what happens to the equipment that we already own? Where
Do we have it back yet, Brent?
It's warehoused at the Public Works.
It's in Public Works, yeah. We actually did we requested for them to bring the equipment to us.
Okay.
So that we wouldn't be charged for additional storage fees. But we are going to be working on an additional grant to fulfill the parking needs.
Okay. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Reinders?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Laha?
Aye.
Trustee Fialko?
Aye.
And Trustee Consolino?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next will be
Mayor,
work.
if I may just address the board with respect to that last time. There is now a notification that has to be submitted to the contractor. So my suggestion would be that the village attorney, on behalf of the village, draft a notice for the mayor to execute to terminate the contract. Okay?
Thanks, Carrie.
Okay, next would be workshop NPDES Phase 2.
Looking at you.
Are our monitors working?
They should be.
Oh, ours aren't. No. Hold on, it could be just turning them on.
It's in your packet.
Yeah, I know.
It's in the packet.
It's all right, it's fine, it's in the packet, I got it, I just want to, yeah, that's fine.
Put the slides in there.
We haven't.
Oh, they're good. They got it in there. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Is that what? It's not.
I don't think it is.
They can't figure it out.
It's a little louder,
Actually, does that one move, the one in front of Mr. Baber and Taylor? Does that one transfer over or no, or is it in the desk? All right, I'm sorry.
I'll do my best.
Okay.
So, yeah, thank you. My name is Logan Gilbertson. I work with HR Green. We're a civil engineering company. And I've actually been working in Homer Glen for about 10 years now, helping out with various stormwater projects. And one of the things that I've been working on in Homer Glen is something called the NPDES K2 program. So what is that exactly? The NPDES program is actually something that the EPA has implemented about 19 years ago now. It stands for National Pollution Discharge Elimination System. And then a few other acronyms that they love to throw in are an MS4, which Homer Glen technically is an MS4. That's a municipal separate storm sewer system. That means that when it rains, you have a drainage system that carries the water out to our streams. Then they also discuss in this permit quite a bit something called BMP, Best Management Practices. For the sake of this permit, most of them are regulatory best management practices, not exactly physical things that are implemented. So I know there's lots of new people here since the last time I've done this presentation, which I believe is in 2019. So we'll go through everything as to why we actually are participating in this application. So, like I said, the program's been around for quite some time. We're in year 19 of the portion of the village. But you know, the main reason that Homer Glen has to participate is that we are considered urbanized by the U.S. Census Bureau. We were actually able to get out of participating in this up until about 2018. So this is the fifth year that the village has been told we are required to participate. Long story short, this is a mandate from the EPA, so we do our best to maintain compliance. All right, you might be wondering how do we participate in this. The first thing that was done back in 2018 was file something called a notice of intent. So this permit from the EPA is something that they put out, basically a menu of different things we can do as a community to maintain compliance. Back in 2018, we filed that notice of intent saying that the village of Homer Glen is going to do X, Y, Z. And every year, we are going to let you know how we're doing our promises. In 2022, later this year, we're expected to come out with a new permit, so we will be filing a new notice of intent to maintain coverage. All right, back when we first started out, there were a lot of ordinances that were required to be adopted. To date, all those have been adopted So you put it in minutes, so I'll be on a break. References right away. All right, one of the most important parts of this program is called the illicit discharge detection and elimination, IDDE. Really what this references is finding out different ways that our storm sewer possibly get a contaminant in it and where it would go into the stream. This comes up pretty importantly if you have a resident call and say, something in the creek is neon green. I remember that. You need to find a way of how to trace that back. So the village has a storm sewer atlas that you can use to trace the source of any type of contaminant. We've also adopted an ordinance in 2019 that allowed the village to issue fines for a violation of some of these. I would like to add that typically when I have found an illicit discharge or paint come down the drain, oil or something like that, it has never been malicious that I've encountered so far. It is really an educational thing where residents, whoever it may be, businesses, they think a sewer is a sewer, it goes through some type of treatment. The storm sewer system does not go through any type of treatment. It goes down the curb drains, or drains in the yard, and goes straight to a creek or your neighborhood. So please do not dump things down the drains. A lot of people say, how common is this? It's common. All these pictures I have up here are different illicit discharges that I have found just going about every day. Paint, I think, is probably by far the most common thing that goes down the drain. It happens everywhere, even when the rates say, please do not dump waste here. It just goes to the fish. You see them on Google Earth's Street View. It happens literally everywhere. Another thing that we run across pretty frequently, a lot of times at the restaurant, things like that, are dumpsters. The business owners don't keep the lids closed, rain falls on them. All of the oils and things like that on the trash can actually wash out and go directly into the storm drains. And these are actual photos that I've encountered. Salt. Salt is also something that, being in Illinois, we do not have salt water anything here, really. All of our waterways are fresh water. So in the winter, we apply salt to roads, parking lots, things like that for public safety. Good for pedestrians, motorists, not exactly good for fish. So the village, we have a covered salt dome. So when it rains, snows, that salt is protected. But a lot of times, our parking lots, private operators, they leave a salt pile kind of like this in the parking lot. And this was one I driving home one day, noticed uncovered, it rained that day, and the storm drains right there. All that water went right on a big pile of salt, flushed into the creek. You can actually get something called heat toxicity, where the water gets so salty it can kill all the fish in the stream. So it's important if you see things like this, to notify Mr. Woods, to go out and have a conversation with them. Joe might get you right there in his office. Fertilizer is another one. Fertilizer, it helps keep our lawns green and everything like that. But it gets into waterways and cause quite large algae blooms. That one means but oil spills, this happens from the vehicles, but I still see people, again, not maliciously, but if they're working on a vehicle, they see it drain, all of a sudden it disappears. This also goes for cooking grease. I see that regularly as well. The can of bacon grease you've got under the kitchen sink, the storm drain is not the place for it. And I say that because I've seen it on more than one occasion. Another thing, this is one I found a couple months ago. This happens pretty regularly when you have folks who have laundry, washing machines in the basement, actually sinks, and they maybe don't have the basement plumbed correctly to have fixtures down there. Throughout that into their sump pump goes to the creek. You get soap suds, whatever you want, like chili sinks and basement. So things like this are pretty common. Yeah. And also, in older areas, you occasionally do a actual direct connects of sewage lines and stuff But that's everything I have for you. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Can you just, for the record, state, these aren't from Homer Glen, because one of those pictures said Eagle Ridge Drive, so I'm like, are these all in Homer Glen?
No.
No.
Look at Joe, Joe's like,
I just want to make sure, because you saw what I saw, right? And I was like, oh
yeah,
boy.
yeah, I was like, oh no.
Okay.
I included that because
We're real diligent about erosion control and things, situations like this. Logan and HR Green are very good informing us what our requirements are. We do watch properties, especially now. It takes a while for people to get vegetation on their properties. We let them move in. They may not get sod for a few months, but we strongly suggest and enforce that they keep their erosion control in place until they do get that planted.
I do have a question both for Joe and Logan. When you've got the purpose of the program page where it's got Hickory Creek, Spring Creek, Fittyment, what about Long Run?
Long Run is not identified by the EPA as having any known impairments. So there's something that you can look up. It's called a 303E. And they have everything in alphabetical order. And you can look and see what everything listed as. Stormwater rates, pretty nasty stuff in them. As far as they're concerned, there's nothing wrong with it.
And there's lots.
Other blockages.
Yeah. Well, not the blockages, but like, wasn't it, prior to when I got sworn in, it was kerosene, correct? It was being dumped into the stream?
Yeah.
I
saw it, yeah. It was.
The green
it was
stuff?
No,
kerosene.
not the green stuff. For Long Run, it was
It was kerosene.
Kerosene.
It was on the top of the creek. I saw it.
kerosene prior to the whole fires in April.
I'm gonna look at every single sewer I walk past now. Make sure there's nothing going on. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be like looking at everything.
And I'm guessing the adorable little kid's yours. And I'm guessing the adorable little girl is yours.
Aw, cute.
Good add-on.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any old business?
Yes, question, flock cameras, where we have flock cameras, still have 2 on the system, that's it?
Just 2, that's the only update there.
Lieutenant Taylor? Sir, just a quick question, with the 2 flock cameras that we have at this moment, any crime solved with those 2 yet?
No, most of the case we get are complaints, we system. The only thing, we've had a couple traffic stops with deputies and those were false fences.
Right, but as far as hits with the flock cameras that are out there, nothing that we've used those cameras to resolve any major crime? Okay, thank you, sir.
Carmen, is there a reason why it's taking so long to get any additional?
Has it permitted the flocks for their intersections yet?
And that's what we're waiting on?
Yep.
Okay.
I have a feeling that they may be dragging their feet because of, all the engineering on construction they're looking at. Because they're going to have to anticipate those when new construction comes in too, so.
Yes.
Gravel where the shell was. I've gotten a few calls about those items. I don't know how long we let those items sit looking that way. But now we also have the kinder care across the street. So we've got 3 right in the immediate area that a lot of our residents travel at. And so I just want to make sure that we're not letting this sit where we're not going to, if there's nothing going to be done with the property, they should be maintained in a way that they're at least visibly, not looking like...
More appealing, I guess, is what we're looking for, a little bit better looking. The private property at 143rd and Bell where the kinder care was taken down is still in the permitting process. That's owned by private parties now, so that'll be getting developed soon. They're in for permit. We're still waiting for a couple, just I's and T's to be finished. The property on 143rd and Bell where the gas station came down, I will check with Will County on that and see what they can do to clean up that intersection a little bit more. I have talked to them in the past about at least cutting the grass, but we can get a time frame as far as what their plans are. I know that's going to be a staging area for the 143rd widening project.
Yeah, the Will County has ownership of, and it's a remnant parcel. It's not a buildable lot. It's less than what standards would require for it to be a buildable lot. Adjacent property owners so far have not been interested in picking that up. There's a possibility that it could be something that the village and Will County work out something on, but during the full period of reconstructing that intersection, Will County intends to use that as a staging area. So there will be construction equipment on there for a long time, and it's going to be ugly.
And that's
Yeah.
all gravel there, so.
It's all gravel,
if there's a stage there, we want to make sure that that gravel's not traveling into Belt Road and cracking people's windshields. So I don't know what we can do to kind of alleviate that situation. I mean.
We'll touch base with Will County and find out.
I want to thank you, Joe, for getting rid of that bench, that cement bench out there with the advertising on it so fast. We talked about it, you got it out of there.
I'm still working on the ones on 159th Street also.
That resident was very happy that you took care of that so fast, so thank you for that. The other thing is, I'd like to say,
Okay. Anyone have anything else? Do we have any executive?
I hope not.
I have on the, for executive session, we do not have to go in at your dais. Thank you, Rosie and Beth, for turning yours back in. There is a manila envelope. They're drafts. I don't know where we stand with our ordinance, if they're allowed to take them home in drafts and bring them back, or do they have to leave them here?
We talked about that before.
We've talked about it quite a few times. I don't know.
Why don't we try and do an ordinance for the next meeting that shores it up?
But you know what, to be honest, it would make my life a whole lot easier, so I'm not letting these pile up. Every time I do one, I could just put it in your...
And just make it very clear on what's permitted.
But that's up to the attorneys for...
They should review them in closed session, and then if they want to approve them, they can.
Yeah,
And they can
I'd
also
rather not take
decide whether to approve them for release. But the review should initially be done in the closed session itself.
Okay. So
my suggestion is to leave them here.
Okay, that's what I thought you would say. Are you guys all good with what you've seen? You're all good?
Rubens.
Okay. Yes, just don't write on the envelope, I'm being cheap. I want the envelopes back.
That is Eric's, correct?
Never release them until you approve them in closed session. Then you come out,
Okay.
you approve them.
Yeah, we can adjourn and stuff. I can grab them from you after.
So I'm gonna go home.
Gary, you didn't have anything we need to go into executive session for, correct?
No, Trustee Fialko, I think you covered everything that I had intended to cover.
I will say, I didn't make it to your festival, but I was really happy to hear that it went off without a glitch. So congratulations to all of you on that.
Thank you, sir.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you, dear. No, they don't have to be signed. They just have to be reviewed. We're good.